Welcome back to the Primal Professor. Whether it's an Easter holiday or a birthday or an anniversary celebration or a promotion, this is an important video, especially for those of you who are new to the low carb or ketogenic lifestyle. And today we're going to talk about one of the most controversial topics in the ketogenic world, a cheat day. Now, before you go clutching for your bacon or grabbing your emergency electrolytes, hear me out. This is more than just about food, it's about our mindset. So, what is a cheat day really? Well, it's when a person intentionally steps outside their dietary plan, and it's usually with processed, high carb comfort foods, and then they usually justify it with, well, I really deserve this. It's often filled with regret and guilt, and usually followed by blood sugar roller coaster and leaving you questioning at that point because you feel so bad every decision you make. But the word cheat itself implies that you're doing something wrong. It's rooted in shame. A cheat day, and I think we all know this, can turn into a cheat weekend and even a full-on relapse. So now let's flip the script. And a celebration mindset would say, I imagine, I'm living a lifestyle that supports my health, and I can enjoy special moments mindfully without guilt and without sabotage. Okay? And this is about being intentional. Celebrating grandma's 90th birthday with a sliver of cake, that's a celebration. But gorging on donuts because it's Saturday morning, that's a habit. So keto isn't a prison. You're not breaking out to dive on the breadbasket. This isn't about punishment, it's about power. And when you cheat, here's what's really happening. You're disconnecting from your why. You're operating on impulsiveness, not intention. But when you celebrate, you stay connected to your goals and your values so you can plan ahead and dose your carbs wisely and move right along. So I'm going to give you an example. As I was preparing this last night for today, to record for today, I was making dinner for my husband, and I made broccoli cheese soup. It was delicious, and I made tuna fish salad because it's Friday during Lent, and we don't eat meat. And my friends called and said, oh my gosh, come out tonight. We're going to celebrate my birthday. And I said, well, I just ate, and I just had some soup at that point. And I said, yeah, I will go. So I went and I met up with my friends, and I knew the restaurant, so I knew I was going to pick some sort of seafood to eat. I had a little more carbs earlier in the day yesterday because I couldn't eat bacon or sausage, so I had yogurt for breakfast, and then I had eggs for lunch. And then I had some carbs with the broccoli soup. So when I went to dinner last night, I met my friends. They enjoyed what they ate. And they had 2 drinks each. They were sugary types of drinks. They ordered an appetizer, which is in our area potato cakes. Do I love potato cakes? Yes. And when the waitress asked if they wanted a bread basket, they said yes. So there was bread and crackers there, and they're like, do you want to try the potato cakes? I said no. I ended up ordering a shrimp and crab cocktail with some sparkling water, and they ate what they ate, and it was a wonderful evening. The conversation was great. I didn't see them for a while, and we just chatted away, and I left there. It was such an enjoyable night, and I've been working very hard, staying on plan, trying to build muscle, trying to lose a few more pounds, and I didn't derail. And it would have been harder for me earlier on in my journey, but it certainly helped because I was making this video too. So I was in a great celebration mindset, right? So what I want to say, it's really not just about the carbs, it's how you think about the carbs. How can we celebrate? What did I do last night? How can we celebrate without derailing? Well, because I knew the restaurant, I kind of knew I really didn't indulge in anything last night because I had indulged in more carbs in the morning. But if you're going to a celebration, you want to choose your indulgence ahead of time. So if it's Christmas, I know my indulgence is going to be a chocolate chip cookie that I make. I make wicked chocolate chip cookies. I can't make them often because they're addicting. But if I'm going to my sister's Thanksgiving dinner, I'm going to indulge on the stuffing, right? So you pick what you're going to indulge on ahead of time. 2, you want to prioritize protein and fat. So what the mistake I used to make was not eat all day long. And when I was a carb burner, I didn't eat. And then I was starving. By the time I got to Thanksgiving dinner, I indulged and overindulged. I had 2 or 3 desserts. I had stuffing. I had everything. And it was just a recipe for disaster. So now when I go to Thanksgiving dinner, I eat my regular bacon, eggs, breakfast. I don't go in hungry. 3, you need to mind your electrolytes if you're going to carb up. So you don't want to be low on electrolytes because that's just going to increase your cravings. So that's going to help you stay in control. Number 4, you can either exercise, go for a walk, or do a workout, plan it for that morning. You could fast. It depends on what time that dinner is. I'm not a big fast person. I'm not saying you can't do that, but if you're well along your journey, I think maybe you can do that. But you can go for a walk or exercise beforehand. When you do that, you're depleting the glycogen stores in your larger muscles, and then when you do indulge those carbohydrates that are coming in, and that when that raises your glucose level, the the muscles can just grab that glucose right out of your bloodstream, and it has somewhere to go, and then your insulin's not going to spike as high, so that's going to help prevent the cravings. And then even go for a short walk afterwards. And then number 5, I want you to reflect, because that cake, you look at it, you think, oh, grandma's cake, that looks good, but here you ate it and it really wasn't that good, wasn't what you thought it was. Or maybe it was great and you don't have regrets, or maybe it led to you having another piece of cake, and maybe you can't stop yet because you struggled with sugar addiction. So you need to, what were your regrets, and analyze that and reflect on it, so next time you don't repeat that same mistake. So a celebration, let me be clear, is not a free-for-all. It honors your journey without putting your health at risk or on the back burner. And so before you start planning your celebration plate, take a moment to check in and assess where your metabolic status is at. So I'm 5 years into it. I know if I indulge at a holiday a little bit, like I said, I'm going to be able to turn it around quickly. But that was not the case early on. I would get derailed and I would get so frustrated because all the progress I made, then I kind of backed up 4 weeks or 3 weeks, and then it was 2 weeks, and then now I can have an indulgence and I am not impacted as much. But if I'm going to indulge, it's going to be on pizza, and that might be once every 2 months. It's not every week, a couple times a month. That's not happening. Are you still insulin resistant, or have you become insulin sensitive? Because if you are insulin resistant, it matters a lot. With insulin resistance, that means your body is still having trouble processing these carbs, especially the refined ones. Even a small indulgence could spike your blood sugar and kick you out of fat burning. We're not even talking about ketosis. You can't even get into fat burning. If you're insulin sensitive, that means your body is better at handling occasional carbs. And I would say that's where I'm at right now. You might be able to enjoy a little more flexibility without the negative fallout. But if you're still on meds for your blood sugar, or if you're struggling with belly fat, cravings, or energy crashes after meals, then you're still insulin resistant. And in that case, a cheat day could hit you like a freight train. Don't do that to yourself. The cake isn't worth the crash. So, for those who are healing from food addiction, sugar addiction, binge eating, or insulin resistance, even one cheat day can throw you off for weeks. If that's you, it's okay to draw a hard line and say, no, I'm not going to have the cake. You're going to tell grandma it's important for me to be here, but I'm not going to have the cake because I've been working really hard to improve my health. And I think everybody will understand that. Healing comes first, and the longer you've been insulin resistant, the longer it's going to take you to heal. And be patient, because it does happen. It really does. Celebrations don't have to include food. You can celebrate people, and that's what I did last night. You can celebrate experiences and self-care. And I took care of myself last night by staying on the ketogenic plan. Look, this is about freedom, not restriction. The keto lifestyle isn't about perfection, it's about intention. Choose to celebrate your health, your milestones, your life, but do it in a way that aligns with who you're becoming. Stop cheating on your body, start celebrating your journey, and remember, loyalty to yourself is the best dessert. If this video hit home, hit that like button. Consider subscribing and leave a comment. Maybe you have a strategy that would help me or some other ones who are listening to this video. Okay, stay healthy, stay in ketosis. Thank you for being here. I really appreciate you. Have a great day.